Smashbox Labs.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the third episode of Smashbox Live.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. We've got some cool stuff to talk about, some cool new stuff.
Yeah, cool. That's cool. Would be the word to describe our new bean.
Yeah, we do have a brand new, all expenses paid bean.
No, we still have to buy food and stuff.
What we do?
Yeah, that's.
We gotta take him back to the bean store. We just can't afford new beans like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're already buying bean food.
Right, that's true. And we do snuggle our bean every night.
For reference, we're talking about cats.
Yeah, we do have a new cat.
We got a new cat.
Fun facts, his name is Shoes, right?
He looks like he has little white shoes on.
Yeah, looks like his shoes. Krista keeps calling him Mittens. And I'm just like, babe, it's shoes. And she called him socks the other day, and I was like, that's what she keeps calling him, socks. And I was like,
Krista, I know you're listening to this. If he confuses his name for mittens or socks or anything but shoes, I'm gonna throw you into the sun.
But yeah, so we got Shoes, our new little kitten baby. And the tough part about being a cat parent is that we're raising Skeletor.
You're a cat uncle. I thought we went over this.
Yeah, that's true. We were at Walmart earlier and we came to the realization that I'm a cat uncle.
You can't tell people where we shop. They're gonna triangulate a location.
Yeah.
They're gonna triangulate a location and murder us.
All of our raving fans will come and murder us at Walmart.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think that getting murdered by a fan at Walmart wouldn't be the worst thing.
I think it would. It would be literally the worst thing that could happen to you. Death would be the worst thing possible to happen to you.
So would that be like the second? Well, no, I guess you are dying when people are killed, they die. People die when they are killed, conversely.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, so we got the new Bean, right? He is a master of the universe. He is little Skeletor incarnate.
Yeah, he makes his little mew noises, but sometimes they just go, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's a talkative little kiddo.
Yeah, every day we stray further and further from He-Man's light. You know, we run into Shoes and we love him.
Yeah, he's a special little guy. He's our little manual.
Yeah, that's not the only new thing we've gotten. No, we've come into something else as well.
Yeah, well, I won't put it like that. We purchased. We made a purchase.
That's fair. We did purchase Injustice 2.
Yeah, we decided we wanted a video game, so we bought a video game.
Yeah.
We didn't. Oh, hey, we found this that makes it sound like we stole it.
Yeah, we did murder a man.
Or inherited it.
Or a Barbara Ann for Injustice 2.
Yeah, you gotta stop with those jokes because, like, yeah, sure, they're jokes, but when you find somebody's, social security card in your car,
right,
and you don't have any explanation for it except for like nervous laughter and then jokes about murdering her, you kind of paint a bad picture.
Oh, well, okay. For one thing, there's not enough left to paint a picture with.
You are like the worst Batman villain
right.
I have ever seen.
What do you mean?
You're not like taking credit for a crime.
Right.
You're just like, hey, maybe a crime happened.
So
who could tell?
I'm like the shitty Riddler.
Yeah, well, I would say like a shitty Joker.
Okay, well, isn't the Riddler just a shitty Joker?
No, the Riddler's cool and played by Jim Carrey.
Okay, I just want to point out, there's a totally sidebar here. I swear to God, if I see that poster one more time, I'm going to cream my jeans.
What poster?
The one of him in the Riddler suit. Have you not seen that? Someone made a poster, and it was him in the Riddler suit holding the bowler, and he's just standing there, and he's like doing a little bow to like a Gotham backdrop. It looks really beautiful.
Is it like an OG poster from the movie?
It looks like one, but it's fan made.
Okay.
It is cinematic quality though.
Okay, I mean that's fair.
Yeah, I think it was right after.
I feel like movie studios can really be like, hey, we got $10,000 to the lucky winner. Whoever makes the best movie poster wins. They don't have to make any posters anymore because that's probably less than they pay some design team to make a fucking movie poster.
How much do you think the guys who make like a poster, right, like for Interstellar?
I would say that they probably got paid probably upwards of $50,000. Like there was probably a team of people.
Yeah.
That like a board, a committee to design this poster, and they probably got paid at least like $50,000.
Do you think they get royalty?
Royalties?
Yeah,
I don't think
they
so.
get that?
I don't think that anybody except for actors and people that are actually in the movie. Like if I did lights for Batman Begins. Okay. Those royalty checks still coming in? Nah, I gotta work still.
Nah, I'm fucked.
But yeah, if you got a royalty just for hey, I helped with the lights.
Yeah.
This is a segue, and this is not to something that we wanted to talk about, but there was a bet. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg had a bet. They bet each other that each other's movies would be more successful than theirs.
Oh.
And whoever lost the bet had to give a percent of their, like a 2% royalty to the other person for the movie. And Steven Spielberg won because
George Lucas did Star Wars.
George Lucas did Star Wars.
Now see,
so Star Wars is not only making George Lucas stupid fucking rich, but it's making Steven Spielberg stupid fucking rich.
Now I won't lie to you, that whole setup for me was a roller coaster of emotion.
Why is that?
You started out with Steven Spielberg and George Lucas have a bet. So initially I'm thinking, okay, alright, there's going to be millions of dollars, and I was right. But I also expected something else.
Like, they bet a kidney as well?
No, for some reason I thought this was going to be like a really gay fan fiction plot.
Oh.
Like, I thought this was going to be Steven Spielberg x George Lucas, the How to Start a Handjob story. For reference, you guys can't see it, but Gaza's face did significantly drop as soon as I took that to the sad level.
Yeah.
But think of it. How many people do you think know about that bet and assume there was nothing going on with it? I don't mean
like people who hear about this bet and assume that nothing gay went on with it?
No. I mean like nothing weird other than money. I don't mean like gay per se, but I mean like maybe one of them had a streak.
Well, I don't want to burst your bubble, but a man giving another man a hand job is gay.
In some cultures.
No, that's gay. Like, I think you're allowed to give yourself a hand job and not be gay, but that's it.
Now, do you think there's a hand job quota? Like, if you give even one?
No.
Even one?
No. I think if you give another dude a hand job, you're gay.
Okay, what if...
That's a gay act. I'm not saying that you're definitely a homo... Like, I can understand, oh, I tried it, didn't like it, it's not for me. But, I mean...
What about getting one?
Getting a hand job from a guy?
Yeah.
Now, that depends if you derive sexual pleasure from the fact that the man is giving you the hand job or just from the act of receiving a hand job.
Okay, so...
And you're just, like, closing your eyes and picturing a lady doing it.
Okay, so we got a friend. I think I've mentioned... I'm not going to mention the name, but I've mentioned this...
I don't like where this is going already.
But he got a blowjob from a dude he works with.
Okay.
Right, so is that... He didn't enjoy it very much. He didn't finish. But it did go on for like half an hour. Does that cross that threshold?
That's painfully long. Like, that's painfully long to be like, yeah, this isn't working.
Well, to be fair, according to him, this is purely according to him, he did try and dissuade the guy.
Wait, the man sucking or receiving the sucking?
The man,
the blower, or the blowee?
The blowee was trying to convince him, like, hey man, you don't gotta do this. This isn't cool. And the blower was like, well, no, I need to eat. Yeah, and so the blowee goes, well, I can take you to Taco Bell, man. What do you want?
What the fuck?
And he goes, no, I need man meat. So this was one of those aggressive. This was an aggressive blowjob assault situation.
Oh my god.
So
like, what? I don't want to ask any questions because I don't want more. We're gonna have to talk about that later.
Yeah.
All right, we're too far off topic.
It's a veer back to injustice too, because that was a fucking injustice. Let me tell you.
Oh my goodness.
But
fuck you. Oh my god. Like that's the worst pun, with like the worst repercussion. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's like. You just told the worst fucking story I could think you could tell in that situation, and then you top it off with that horrible fucking pun.
Look, dude, all I'm saying is Injustice 2 is a pretty good game. As far as fighting games go, it's a lot different from what I'm used to.
Yeah,
but it's fun. You know, the learning curve isn't that steep.
Yeah, I just like superhero games. So it's like
yeah.
That's where I'm at with it.
For me, superheroes have always been like a huge obsession. So getting to play, even as a Robin I don't like,
Right.
is really fun.
But you don't like Damian Wayne?
Oh, I think he's a whiny bitch.
Well, all the Robins are.
Well, Dick
That's
Grayson's
their
fine.
shtick.
Dick's fine.
Dick. Okay.
So's Tim, I think. Did they
Oh,
even touch
Tim
on
Drake.
him? They'd still touch on Tim Drake. Is he still a fucking thing?
He's in. I'm just now reading the Laren Core backstory thing that y'all suggested I read, and Tim Drake is the Robin in that.
Okay.
Or Tim Drake, I think. No, Tim Drake was the Robin. That's the Robin that Flash remembers, and he's like it's.
It's him.
Or no. He remembers Dick Grayson, but it's Tim Drake now.
Okay, so he got his Robins mixed up. Flash did.
No. Well, no, because Flash died when Dick Grayson was Robin.
Okay.
Again, we're getting off topic. It doesn't matter.
So you got a pretty good cast, I think, in that game. Though.
Yeah. I think that some of the stronger characters are not necessarily like
fair,
or like it's canonically inaccurate.
Yeah.
Like, sure, Dr. Fate, he's a super strong zoning character.
Yeah.
And he would probably be really strong in the sense of things, but I play Batman.
Yeah.
I punch the fuck out, like I beat Superman in a straight up fist fight.
Yeah.
Granted, I do have the kryptonite punch, but
that's
Batman can block that.
You mean Superman can?
Superman. Yeah. That's what I meant. You know what I meant.
I think conversely, at the same time, like you have, let's say the Flash, right? For some reason in that game, they scale his powers way down, and I get it. You gotta have a competitive.
Yeah, it's gotta be fair, because Flash is the best power.
Yeah, statistically, he's gonna run so fucking fast you can't tag him. Like,
right.
How the fuck is Damian Wayne gonna land a hit on the Flash? Don't get me wrong,
how's anybody gonna hit the Flash?
Exactly. Like Superman and Kara, I get it. They're pretty fast themselves.
Yeah, they're not faster than the Flash though.
Well, yeah.
The Superman went back in time by flying around the Earth so fast. The Flash can like run a city block and be like, boom,
through time.
Yeah, through time.
And
then come back 50 feet forward, like 6 years. He spent 6 years in the past.
Yeah.
He's coming back to the same time, 50 feet away from where he was previously at.
It just feels like it's such a sorry case of CW Flash syndrome, where sometimes he gets tagged by a bullet, and then other times bullets are literally fucking slow-mo for him.
Yeah, like the Injustice 2 cutscene where Deadshot, like, it can track him super easily.
Yeah.
Shoots him in the calf. I'm like, really? The Deadshot can keep up with that?
Yeah, Deadshot just moving his scope.
Like very casually moving his scope, and pow.
Yeah.
Like, he's aiming at the Flash.
Yeah, it's not. He's
not aiming where the Flash is gonna be. He's aiming at the Flash. He pulls the trigger, super slow-mo mode. It hits Flash in the calf.
Mm-hmm. And
don't really get it.
Yeah, how did the Flash not outrun a bullet?
Yeah,
a bullet that's going at a diagonal toward him.
Right.
Like he's just running for whatever. Point is, some of those characters shouldn't be able to tag him. At one point, there was a fight between Flash and Reverse Flash. These guys are speedsters. Why were they not able to outrun every car?
Oh, you're talking in
story mode, yeah.
I didn't. Okay, I didn't. Wait, I feel like I'm.
You were playing for that part.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That thing. That's another thing I brought up. Like, it's funny that is how these speedsters fight. They're like, haha, can you catch me? No,
Yeah.
No, you can't. I'm faster than you. Okay, maybe I'm not faster than you. Oh fuck, you caught me. And then then they actually fight.
Yeah, you like. To a point, I get it, right? Like,
right.
Maybe the one ahead is looking for, like, a terrain advantage of some kind.
But at the same time, it's like you're just running down a busy freeway.
Yeah, like, you gotta pick your battles there, champ.
Like the season 2 finale for the Flash.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in the finale episode, but the culminating moment where they're fighting Zoom,
mm-hmm.
and they're running around that ring. I'm like, why is he playing this game with him?
Seriously, just turn around at some point.
Literally turn around, run backwards, you could catch him.
Yeah.
Of course, the real ending, which I'm not going to spoil, is pretty good. I like that. I didn't hate that ending.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like we're now just talking about the Flash instead of our talking point.
So who you play? What characters you play? You said you played Batman.
I played the Flash, He started, like, I didn't really like his play style as much as I thought I would. I love the Flash as a character. I think he has the strongest superpower in the DC universe. I just don't like his playstyle in Injustice 2. Started playing Batman. Right. He really wasn't my cup of tea either. Green Arrow, I like a lot more. So, I mean, it's sort of weird that I went from the strongest power, in my opinion, in the DC universe to these two guys without powers. They've just got gadgets.
Well, let's track this more accurately. You went from strongest power to strongest normal human, other than, augmented Bane, to Green Arrow. Who I love Green Arrow. I think he's one of my favorite heroes in DCU, but statistically his power, he's not even the best melee fighter on the roster in that game.
No.
He's maybe third.
It might be the most accurate shot.
Deadshot.
I don't know. Green Arrow took down Deadshot, if I remember correctly.
Well, yeah, he's taken him down a couple times, but Deadshot's whole thing, he's the bullseye of DC Comics.
Yeah, I don't really...
He can't miss.
Oh, what's Bullseye? What's that? Is that a Marvel one?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not...
His whole thing...
That's not the guy from the Avengers, is it?
I don't think he was ever in the Avengers.
No, I mean the Avengers guy. His name isn't Bullseye, is he?
No, that's Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, that's it.
He's basically the Green Arrow of MC.
See, my thing is, like, I like DC a lot more than I do Marvel.
Yeah.
But the Marvel Cinematic Universe is farly superior because they didn't cast Ben Affleck. They learned from that lesson.
You hold a grudge against Ben Affleck.
He ruined Daredevil for me. All right?
Fair. Yeah.
I was like, there's this blind guy. He's a lawyer. That's a little weird. Oh, he fights crime at night. Okay, fucking how? And then you start reading the comics. You're like, this is great. This is fucking wonderful. And then, you're 10 years old, and they're like, Ben Affleck, whoever that is going to be playing Daredevil in a Daredevil movie.
And you're like, oh, yeah.
You're like, this is going to be the coolest shit. And then you go and watch it.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, so I know this is a continued departure from our point here, but how do you feel about the show Daredevil? What, do you?
I really like the show. I haven't finished second season because we were sort of going to watch it together. I've watched the first 3 or 4 episodes on my own.
Yeah.
Enough to really like the Punisher and be excited for the Punisher series that is inevitably going to be coming out. I think they've announced that already, and that's going to be a thing, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be a Punisher spin-off series, which I'm super excited for. I haven't watched Luke Cage. Not that interested in Luke Cage. We watched Iron Fist almost all day. I think I fell asleep for the last 2 episodes, but I finished those the following morning.
Yeah. And we talked about it and you woke up.
Yeah. But I think that Ben Affleck might be the person I would say he's famous for the worst thing. Pearl Harbor, the movie, not like the Japanese bombing, and Daredevil. You
gotta specify more with that. What? I've never seen this movie.
You never seen Pearl Harbor? Okay, so the first 15-20 minutes is super intense. I think John Travolta's their sky captain guy.
Oh shit.
And it's a decent first 20. It's like Full Metal Jacket. It's like the first 20-30 minutes, however long it is. The first bit is really good. You get all the action that you're looking for.
Right.
And then the rest is just fucking nobody watches that part of the movie. If you watch Pearl Harbor in school, you watched the first 20 fucking minutes. You didn't watch all that shit that happened afterwards. If you watch Full Metal Jacket, you're gonna watch until piles, because that's 2 different movies.
Yeah.
That's sort of the style of, and I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Clint Eastwood?
No, the director.
Oh.
He's Space Odyssey, The Shining.
Kubrick,
Stanley Kubrick style, which I can't say I like a lot.
Kubrick didn't direct a fucking...
He directed Full Metal Jacket. I'm not saying...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was still thinking about the tragedy.
Yeah. Stanley Kubrick does a thing where it's he tells 2 stories at once, which... and sometimes he doesn't even really tell stories, like with Space Odyssey. He has pieces to a story, and then it's just an arts film, which I don't appreciate as much as, a full-fledged... if 2001 A Space Odyssey went somewhere instead of turning into an acid trip, because that makes me think, I couldn't think of how to end this movie. So here's a bunch of colors to look at.
Well, I think that a lot of what Kubrick does is... in some movies, like you mentioned, he has the whole duogogy of two different stories at once. You're kind of seeing how they mash together, and sometimes you have to pick up the pieces of why they do.
Right.
But then you have movies like Clockwork Orange, which
is that a Kubrick film?
I think.
Yeah, I couldn't finish that one.
Admittedly, it might not be a Kubrick
it's
film.
It's super fucking weird, so I believe it would be a Kubrick film. I'm actually gonna go ahead and break the third wall here. The third wall. Well, there's no visual. So this would be the third wall. So if I'm not telling you that I'm looking this up, you wouldn't know. But because I'm telling you that I'm looking it up.
So Clockwork Orange, is it a Kubrick film?
Yep, Stanley Kubrick.
Okay, so yeah, the whole movie follows the guy.
Right.
If I want to say...
him and his gang.
Yeah, him and his gang of goons.
Right.
But the whole point is whether or not people change.
Right.
Because, you know, the book... how old is this movie? Fucking 30, 40 years? I'm going to spoil it.
It would be 45.
Yeah, so in one version, the main guy reforms and he goes back to his life. You know, he's him.
All right.
In the other version, he reforms and relapses. And it's kind of implied that all he can ever be is a goon.
Right.
So
these like two distinct versions, or are there just like two endings to the film, like that Kubrick shows?
One is from the book, the other's from the movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna leave it a little vague because you do know one of these two things is gonna happen, but that way you can still get enjoyment out of whichever one you pick up.
I mean, I'm not gonna read or watch.
Well, I meant more for the listeners, but
right.
The point is, Kubrick is putting horrible things on display to send a specific message.
Right.
So
I can't really say I'm a huge fan of Stanley Kubrick's films. I as a kid, 2001: A Space Odyssey was the coolest fucking movie, and I loved the hell out of that movie. Watching it as an adult, I'm like, why? Why did I like this so much?
I think the thing about it is that it's the perfection that he gets in most of his cinematography is so stunning visually as a child that you're really attracted to it.
Yeah, I was distracted from the fact that there wasn't really like anything going on by the fact that it looked really neat.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not criticizing Kubrick as a director. I think he's really talented.
I would say I'm criticizing Kubrick as a director.
I mean, that's fair.
Full Metal Jacket, not really watchable past the pile stuff.
Really?
Yeah, the part where they actually get to Vietnam, it's just, why is this here?
It did feel like two different movies.
Yeah, it is two very distinct different movies. That the only thing that they really have in common is that they have to deal with Vietnam. One of them is boot camp, the other one is actually in Vietnam.
Okay, well, do you think that's part of the point, though?
No, because I think that the entire first half of the movie is building up this Gomer Pyle guy. And he's like, this guy's a worthless piece of shit, and his drill sergeant's telling him he's a worthless piece of shit because he's fucking up all this stuff, and he's not doing well in the fitness stuff. Yeah. And he keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and then he snaps. He kills, I think, all the people in his platoon and himself. And so that was really stunning to me. But then at the same time, then the movie continues for like another hour and a half, or however long. And it's just like, what the fuck was that first bit? Can we go back? Can we talk about that? Because, like, if I'm watching that movie, if I watched that in theaters, I would have had to get up and leave. Like, the people I was with, we would have had to watch that movie twice, maybe. Yeah. But, I mean, I really wouldn't want to go back for the Vietnam part because I was going to be like, what the fuck was that? Yeah. We got to talk about this, like, right now. Like, that's got to be something that's discussed immediately.
Yeah. But I think the thing about it is that after a point, I think it does kind of capture the whole, no matter what you're doing, it's not fun in those scenarios, right? Like, you're from a generation in Vietnam where everything is, life should be easy. The American way is that we're on easy street. We're doing this.
I wouldn't say necessarily that the American way was easy street, because definitely after World War II, it was like, America works hard to stay ahead, because the Depression, that wasn't just America, that was like
the world.
Yeah, the world thing.
Yeah.
And to recover from that, not only did it take all of our nation's forces, like and every able-bodied man that was able to go went to fight in the war, and then these housewives had to go and pick up the slack that was left by 4 fucking million troops or however many we sent overseas, to the islands or to the Pacific and to Europe. And I don't know the numbers, but there was a lot of slag that had to be picked up, and that that was what kickstarted women's rights and stuff, and it really showed, hey, America's strong. Not only are America's men strong, America's women are strong, America as a whole is strong, and that sort of started breeding the nationalism, the patriotism that really, in the Depression, like if you look at like approval ratings for presidents during the Depression,
Hoover.
Yeah, there was a reason they called them Hoovervilles. It's because they were like, this is what Hoover did to us.
Well, I mean, you also have to keep in mind, like, a lot of that was public perception. Like, the things that
Right.
Hoover did weren't that bad.
That's the thing. A lot of people like to attribute things to the president, no matter like how little influence he. Like, he can veto something, and then it goes back to the House, and the House approves it resoundingly, and that's done. It's into law. He doesn't have a choice in it anymore.
Yeah. I think a big problem with the 30s really is that you had a situation created from the 1920s and the 1910s where a lot of things became more available, and the stock market became bigger and bigger and bigger, and it looked at a point where it's like, okay, this is just the most terrifying growth we've seen ever in our country's history. So the American stock market crashes, right? You see all that horror going on. And at that point, you want Hoover to do something. But it's like someone took a dump on his desk. He can't do anything about it.
That's the thing. It's like people want the government to do things for them, but they don't want the government to be too involved.
Well, I mean,
they want a give and take, but they want more give and less take. They I want to cut taxes, but the government needs to improve the roads. But I need to I don't want to pay as much for gas. But eggs are too expensive, and it's just
you have to at some point sacrifice something. Like Hoover, his strategy for it was, I'll create a whole bunch of tax cuts, I'll make it so people have money to spend, and all this. But what happens is, people take the money that they got, right, that they were allowed to keep and withhold from their taxes, and they held on to it, so nothing's getting done.
Yeah.
Then you have FDR.
Well, after the banks collapsed and stuff.
You can't blame them. But then FDR
well, at a point where banks are taking holidays just so people can't come and take all their fucking money out.
Yeah, but Franklin Delano Roosevelt comes in and he does the exact opposite, right?
Right.
He blasts Hoover. He says, "This is shitty. You can't do this." And in reality, his initial plan was to do the same.
FDR was my hero for a long time because, as a kid, it was like the guy served as president for super long.
Yeah, long.
Obviously, people liked him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was a good president.
He would have been voted in again.
If he died in office. Yeah. He could have went 10, 30, 40 years.
At least 8 more.
Yeah. But sadly, he died in office.
Yeah.
2, he did all this with polio.
Yeah.
He was wheelchair bound. He would stand sometimes to like make points. I read like a lot of powerful stuff in like 3rd and 4th grade about FDR because like I did a project on him. Like everybody in the class had to do a project on a president, and I pulled FDR. So I got a handful of books from the library about FDR. Most of them were picture books because I was in elementary school, but I got one from the high school that was just a straight up novel, like a biography of Franklin Delano Roosevelt's life. I can't remember. I think it was just called FDR.
Was it the big blue one?
I can't remember. I think the cover and stuff was in black and white.
Okay.
And it had him and Eleanor on it.
I think my favorite FDR book I've ever read it's just a big blue tome called FDR. It's probably about like 600 pages or so, but it's a long examination of his life and the presidency and etc. Right. And I think that while FDR did have a lot of admirable qualities, like persistence, perseverance. Yeah. Well, yes and no. The New Deal did do an okay job of halting the descent.
It did what it needed to do at the time.
It did most of it. Because what you see happen is the New Deal comes in, right? And it's the opposite of the Hoover plan.
Right.
We're going to make people spend their money, and we're going to spend money and show people it's okay to do it. So, he starts financing all these public works projects. You see all this stuff start happening across America.
Right.
And for, at least a little bit, people are like, okay, we're doing something. More people are working. We'll spend a little bit of our money. And that's okay.
I'm going to cut you off. This is becoming the least funny podcast.
Admittedly, yeah.
It's just becoming us talking about presidents.
Yeah.
Dead presidents, and not in like the haha cash money, we got money kind of way, because that's like the opposite of like what we...
I think we both just like history, so we're both cool talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's not as cool as like other shit.
Yeah, I think this is not the time nor the place to be talking about our FDR, our love or hate, or just respect, not really hate for the man.
Yeah, at least like FDR, he's got a lot of laws to his name though, right?
Yeah.
Like,
do you think your grandma voted for him?
Yeah, I was actually about to bring that up. Like, my grandma would always tell me FDR stories, and keep in mind she had never met FDR, but for a long...
Do you think she met him in heaven? Is your grandma alive? I should have.
No, she's dead as fuck.
Okay.
All of my grandmas.
I don't think you should say my grandma. Oh, okay. You went even further and said all of my grandmas are dead as fuck.
All of my grandmas dead as fuck. But my grandma, I always didn't believe at first the stories she would tell me. It seemed incredulous. Like, she once told me she was Madonna. No, it was Cher's hairstylist at one point. Only for 2 weeks. But she said that was a crazy 2 weeks in her life. But I think the craziest 2 weeks in her life, like, thinking about it, I used to live in Florida, for those of you who don't know. Right? And I lived in this town called Cape Coral. Went to a school, Calusa Elementary. Shout out to Austin K. Not, don't even know if he's alive.
I'm not even censoring that name because it's so
vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even...
Austin K. that went to
Calusa.
Calusa Elementary School.
There were like 4 of them, so we called one Austin K and the others by their actual names. But Austin K was like the cool kid to me in kindergarten until he made fun of me for singing Britney Spears.
I just imagine like a
little Duke,
a little 6-year-old bald kid.
Yeah.
Oops, I did it again.
Yeah.
I played with your heart.
And he.
Not that innocent.
He made fun of me, and I think what would have really got him is if like he had come to my house at any point and seen like my life. Because at one point my grandma, right? It's a midnight, real late, and all we hear is a knock at the door. Like a real aggressive type knock. Just a...
Why'd you do that?
A kind of...
I half expected that picture right there to fall.
Me too, but a real like aggressive pounding knock.
Like, it's the police.
Yeah, and...
Was it the police?
Well, you'll see, but my grandma is in her room. I don't know why I'm awake. I'm little. I'm like 5, maybe 4. And my sister, or my cousin...
You were in kindergarten?
Yeah.
So you were like 6, 5 or 6.
Yeah, so I'm laying in bed and I hear it and I'm up. I don't fucking care. And I kind of waddle my little ass out to the hallway.
You're a 6-year-old bald man.
Yeah, I'm an exact picture of me now.
I feel like it's just you, but 3 foot tall.
Yeah, and I walk out to the hallway.
It's like if I had you in Photoshop and I clicked your corner and drug you down to 3 foot tall.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a little Duke.
But my grandma starts coming. She's like, I'm coming. And, the knocking again.
Like not in...
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think she was fucking. I think she was on her way.
Right.
And I hear her go, I'm coming. And, knocking. I'm coming. Knocking. And then as my grandma puts her hand on the doorknob,
they breach charged the door.
Well, actually, no, they kicked it down. They kicked it down right on fucking top of her.
Oh,
and
man.
she hits the ground. She rolls, the door rolls off of her. It's the fucking SWAT team.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. So I see these dudes with fucking assault rifles just breach in through the door, and they're shouting shit. I don't know what the hell they're saying. I'm like 5
probably
or 6.
like, get on the ground, tase him.
And they're like, oh fuck, it's a kid. And like they start shouting off names. They tell 3 dudes to take us into another room. So first, they check the room. They see my sister, and they put me and her in it. I don't know what they did in the other room, because we had 2 rooms at the time. We had my room, my sister's room, and the bathroom in that side of the house. The other half of the house is my grandma's room, my brother's room, and the jacuzzi and like the kitchen suite. So they take me and my sister into this room. And for like a solid 40 minutes, we're just sitting there in silence crying. And finally, this dude, this swole ass SWAT officer.
Hey buddy, I don't know what to tell. We got the wrong house.
But the SWAT officer comes over to me, and it's me and my sister, and I'm like, oh, don't cry, Nyanya, it'll be okay. It's all okay, Nyanya. And like I'm hugging her, and she's bawling. My sister. I called her Nyanya when I was little because I couldn't pronounce her name. Yeah, Deanna.
I was saying D. Good.
That would have been easier than Nyanya, but
yeah.
So I'm hugging her and I'm trying to make her feel better, and the guy leans down and he's still got his gun, but he's got it like hanging from his neck on the.
And he leans over and he's like trying to talk to you. And then like he hears a noise and his hand tenses up and he just says he's turning.
Yeah, but he grabs a toy from the toy box and he picks up
Chicka.
And it's a Barbie, and he goes, "You guys want to play Barbies?" And my sister.
I just picture some Cobra Bubbles looking motherfucker. Yo, wanna play Barbies?
It looked like the guy on the cover of CS:GO.
Yeah, I
guess.
It
looks like that guy. So he, not the terrorist. I think that's.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
The
terrorists are on the cover of.
No, but so he holds out the Barbie doll, right? And my sister looks at him for a second, and I'm like, can we play wrestlers? And my sister goes, "You can't play wrestlers with Barbies, stupid." And she had stopped crying at this point. Just the stupidness of my apparent statement just threw off. Yeah, our house is getting raided by SWAT officers, and the incredulous part is the Barbie and the wrestler. So whatever. He starts playing with us in Barbies, and the other guys are fucking laughing at him.
For trying to comfort two kids, and they just kicked the door on top of their grandma.
Yeah. So he's comforting us. We're fine after a little while, and we're just playing with the guy. He seems like a nice fella. I like to think he had kids too.
It turns out they weren't SWAT officers. It was ISIS.
Yeah, it was ISIS.
They're there to rape you.
Yeah, but so later I found out, and I found this out like 2 years ago, what happened on the other side of the house. Okay.
Oh no.
So for those of you who don't know, my grandma had a third nipple. Yeah. So this is relevant. I just wanted to be noted.
I'm seriously doubting that it is, but continue.
After we got shepherded into the room, our grandma started resisting arrest.
Oh.
And what happened was she tried to pull one of the officers down on her, and so he's trying to just get up, but she's like trying to hold him there, and he's got like so much shit. He's got like the gun in his arms, and he's trying, like, he can't tell if she's making a run for it and like going for the gun or what. So he's kind of puts his hand on her stomach. And she starts shouting, my nipple, Jeremy, my nipple. And, she's like, did you hear me, my nipple? And that was apparently the sign for my brother to run. Little did he know, they breached the back door at the same time.
How old's Jeremy at this point?
I think 18. No, he's 12 years older than me.
Shit, I didn't think he's that much older than you.
Yeah, he's 12 years older.
I thought
than
he was
me.
like 28 right now or something.
No, he's 34.
That dude's like 40.
Yeah, he's getting there. And so they're.
I figured he'd clean up his act by now, but no.
You'd think. I got to show you some statuses from his Facebook later.
Oh, goody.
Yeah. Point is, they breached through the back door same time.
Right.
So he's already out in the backyard. They got him. His friend managed to escape by jumping into the canal. It is a fucking mess. So they got him out in the backyard. They're just tearing all his drawers out of his dresser and fucking up his room, knifing his bed and checking it. And all the while, they're just beating him with batons in the backyard. They're just taking
probably
batons.
Deservingly.
Yeah, and they're just beating the shit out of him with those batons. And
the stories I've heard, he was probably resisting super hard.
Yeah, I bet. And so that's happening in the back of the house. And in the front of the house, you got Barbie Wrestler Playtime Party starring Duke.
Barbie Wrestler Cobra Bubbles.
Yeah, you got Barbie Wrestler Cobra Bubbles, who's super into it. He was doing a real good job. I didn't question his performances at all. But that's at that point I stopped doubting the stories my grandma told me, because after that, is her being Cher's hairdresser that hard to believe?
Did they find anything in Jared's room or?
In his room, no.
In Granny's room?
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff?
A lot of pills.
A lot of pills?
A lot of pills.
Oh no. Was he hiding them there? Was Jeremy trying to plant it on Granny?
No, Jeremy's friend actually had the pills on him. And the weed and, whatever else. And he booked it in the canal. So, ruined, but... Well, I don't know if everything was ruined. I didn't ask if it was in, like, Ziploc baggies or anything. I don't care.
Yeah.
But he made off.
So did you vaguely remember this, and then you brought this up to Jer, and what the fuck happened there, and he told you the story, or?
No, I was talking to Deanna about it, my sister, and
how old was she? She was a year older than you at the time.
She's a year younger than me.
You're younger than you.
Yeah. Everyone's super shocked about that.
Well, yeah, because you guys were in the same grade at some point.
Yeah.
So
we were in the same grade the whole point.
So did you fail?
Well, no, she's 8 months specifically younger than me.
Oh, okay.
So we both barely make the cutoff.
Right. I thought she was older than you. That's why it was weird that she was in the same grade as you.
Mm-hmm. But that was how I should have known I was adopted. Like when you really look back on it.
I mean...
Because according to my parents, she was born 2 months early. Which could be the case since she did have a twin at first.
Yeah.
So
like I said, 8 months, that's... that you can have a baby 8 months pregnant. Your mom could have got pregnant the day she got home from the hospital.
Yeah, the minute that period is over, just...
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's what happened.
I don't know if that's accurate to say. I don't think that's actually a thing.
Well, I mean, there's a period or whatever where you can't have the babies.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so...
But that period, you're also just so over fucking that you're just it's not happening.
Yeah.
I imagine.
But a big contributor to me not noticing the age difference being weird is that when you hear something for so many times, you stop questioning it.
Right.
It's like how some people they'll be like, "Oh, where were you on 9/11?" They'll actually have been asleep, but because of how big 9/11 was and how long it's been, they think they were awake for it. Like they remember seeing the news footage and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because it ran all day, so for them.
See, I don't remember any because I was obviously in school at the time. I don't remember anything happening at school,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember going home that day and it's playing outside, and my neighbor gets home from work.
Yeah.
And he's got his Halloween flag up,
Mm-hmm.
and he takes the Halloween flag down, and puts the American flag up.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's weird. Halloween didn't pass yet.
Yeah. That's, dude, I remember, it actually took me a while to figure out what I was doing on 9/11, because my sister told me. What happened was, I thought that I was at home the whole time, but I realized, later on, kind of recently, that didn't make sense. So I asked my sister.
It happened on a Tuesday.
Yeah, it was 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, and I was in that time zone at the time, so I'd be at school. So I asked my sister, hey, what happened? And what happened was my grandma came and got us from school. They let school out as soon as it happened, because they were like, we can't keep kids.
There's kids here. We can't have them here. We gotta all get together and watch this.
Yeah, so they sent us home, and what happened was we went to our grandma's room to change clothes because we had our dressers in there, because we were moving shit around at the time, and that was when 9/11. We found out about 9/11. So I remember I was sitting there and my grandma was crying or watching it. It was a mess, dude. It's the second worst thing to happen on 9/11.
What's the first?
I dropped an ice cream cone in 8th grade. It landed on my foot and I kicked it back up into my face. Probably the most remarkable display of doofery I've ever experienced in front of other people.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Because what happened was I had one of those the round base cones.
Right.
And I wanted to do this, but this was my first time licking an ice cream cone.
Because I 8th grade.
Yeah, I usually bite them. I bite into them and I chew them. So I go and I go to lick the ice cream cone.
Yeah.
And I had it in the circular ring between my index finger and my thumb.
Uh-huh.
And I licked it at a weird place, so it fell out of my hand.
Yeah.
And it goes tumbling toward my foot. And my very first instinct is, I'll try and kick this up.
I could save this.
Yeah,
I could save this
it.
cone.
Yeah, so I kick it, and for a fucking hot second, I was stoked. I was like, I am a god. I am a god.
You try to open your mouth wide and catch it in your mouth like a boss.
No, I went like, I moved my arms over my face to try and capture it. You know, like
a doof that can't catch a football. Like
the
miss entirely. You just like cross your arms in an X over your chest.
Yeah.
You get hit in the face by the ball.
Like the nerdy kid from every 80s movie.
Right.
I went for it, and I was way off. It just fucking nailed me in the face and then fell back to the ground.
Nice.
And everyone's looking at me. And because, I'm a loud person. So when I hit it with my foot, I go, ah! And then it hits me in the face, and I go, ah! And then it hits the ground, and I go, ah.
You are a pretty loud person.
Yeah.
I wish that I had one-up stories for your police story and your ice cream story. But, I mean, the only stories I really have that involve the police and then a story that involves ice cream are significantly less cool than yours.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't
Or not
cool.
not cool, interesting, I should say.
Okay, the interesting part is probably, like, the guy playing Barbies and wrestlers.
Yeah.
Because, like, my brother getting drug busted, that happened a couple times.
Yeah. Mine's not anywhere near that. So this is like, I'd have to say I was like 12, 13.
Right.
We're playing outside, sword fighting with sticks, whatever the fuck we were doing.
I love that shit.
And we just hear, like, a lot of noise up the hill from the house we were living in at the time. There's a lot of noise going on. Actually, I had to be, like, 10 at this time.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hear, like the sound of breaking concrete.
Right.
Because that's what they were doing up there, is they were breaking concrete. And so I'm like, we gotta find out what's going on up there. Because this happens, like, every other day now.
So at this point, you gotta know.
Yeah. There's a pit up there that we had seen because we used to explore the woods. Just like, hey, Mom said don't go in the woods, but Mom and Dad are at work, so of course we're exploring the woods. We got till 5 o'clock. We're gonna get home before Mom does. She'll never know. Yeah. Oh, there's a bunch of dirt on the back of our pants. What were you kids doing today? Oh, we weren't in the woods, Mom. Definitely not in the woods.
Yeah, not in the woods, huh?
Yeah, we definitely weren't up there looking for Bigfoot or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, well, none of us really wanted to go up there because, like, it's a loud noise.
Right.
Something's happening.
It's spooky.
Yeah. We're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, not it, and I had to go up.
Naturally.
And yeah, so I climb up the hill, and I'm like being real sneaky about it, because I don't want whoever the fuck's up there breaking up concrete to see me.
Right.
And be like, hey, he's walking in on a drug bust. Get him.
Yeah. Fuck him up.
Our drug operation.
Beat
Get
this
him.
little shit up.
Yeah, beat this little kid up. And I go up there, and it's just like, oh, this is just a bunch of older kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know that one. and I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And I hear just a car coming up through the gravel road, and I turn. I'm like, shit, it's a cop.
Oh, fuck.
And I go, like looking back and forth between the kids and the cop. Mm-hmm. And like the cop gets super close before these kids realize, hey, there's a cop right here. And like 3 of them take off. There's 4 kids. 3 of them take off running. The one kid's just like, fuck. And he puts his hands on top of his head. And he's just like, surrendering. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I live down here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise. I came to see what was going on.
I was being nosy.
I drew the short straw.
Yeah.
And so the lady's like, I gotta take you down to the station. I'm sorry.
You're a witness.
I gotta take you down for questioning.
Yeah.
And so there's this huge like iron rod that they're using to break up this fucking concrete. Mm-hmm. And she's trying to feng shui into the back of her trunk. And she's just like, oh, son of a bitch. And she's like, finally just says, fuck it. And she puts it in the front seat, like leaning like behind her headrest. And she's like, so he's not with you guys? Because she gets me and the kid in the back car.
Yeah.
She doesn't like put either of us in handcuffs. I'm just like, my mom's going to kill me. My mom's going to kill me. And so we go down to the police station. We're on our way down there. We see one of the other kids. Mm-hmm. And
did you point him out?
Huh? Yeah, she saw him.
Nice.
She threw the lights on, and he was immediately, he goes to take off running. She speeds up in the car, catches up with him and says, "Get on the ground." And like she didn't point her gun or anything, she just pointed at him.
Yeah.
And he's just like, ah, and he's like, he gets on the ground. He gets in the back seat with us, and she goes, "So, he's not with you guys?" And they go, "No, we got no idea who he is." And I was like, that was so cool of them, because they could have taken me down with them.
They could have fucked you.
They could have fucked me so hard.
That's an integrity story.
Yeah, and I was just like super stunned about that. We get down to the police station, and I'm just sitting there. It's like, she's sitting there. And this is stupid because she has all of us in one room questioning us all at one time. Not
so
like
you could corroborate.
Yeah, I was like, why? I remember thinking like this is weird because they could both just, be like, yeah, he was totally with us. But like if they couldn't corroborate why I was there, who I was, and neither of them knew who I was, so that was kind of like a dead giveaway.
Yeah, like it was,
like the one person that knew who I was because I knew them got away.
Yeah, he was clear.
And I later called him out on this and asked him what they were doing. Like, oh, we were just busting up stuff.
What ding dongs?
Yeah, they were just breaking up a foundation of a house. So
wow.
Super dickholes.
Yeah, that is fucked up.
Yeah, but
I did know a guy who burned down a house once. This isn't me. This isn't a story I'm proud of.
My mom had to pick me up from the police station, and that was very awkward.
Yeah, what did you tell her?
That there was a bunch of noise going on, and that Sebastian and Logan made me go up the hill. Now I've got a sense.
Wait, hang on. You didn't say Seb was there.
I said my brothers.
I thought you just meant Hank Green. How much older is Seb than you?
2 years.
How old were you at the time?
Like 10.
This fucking 12-year-old asshole just lets you go up there?
Yeah.
He's like...
I'm sorry, are you surprised that the brother that has almost led to my death on several occasions set me up the hill?
Admittedly, no.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a certain point where like you don't expect anything of somebody.
Right.
But you still know when you're disappointed.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my police story. I got semi-detained, and my mom had to come pick me up from the police station. Thankfully, that the kids did try and take me down with them, but it would have been hard because they didn't know my name. But they ratted out the other two guys.
Yeah.
That got away. One of which the kid I knew, and when I asked him about it, I was like, they told on you.
Yeah, totally.
They told him who you were and where you lived and everything. It's like that explains why they showed up at my uncle's house. Like those guys didn't know where I really lived. But then my ice cream story again is a really dumb one.
Okay, hit me.
We go to this ice cream store by the local grocery store where I used to work at. That's the ice cream place isn't there anymore. It's just a parking lot, which is sad because it was like a decent ice cream place.
Yeah.
Once you get a Dairy Queen, it's sort of like, why do you have this other ice cream place? But we go there, we get ice cream cones, and we're sitting there. I say something stupid to my friend. He knocks my ice cream out of my hand. I don't have money for another ice cream.
Oh, yeah, of course.
This was a dick move.
Yeah, it's a huge.
I'm just like, wow, asshole.
Yeah, he fucked
now
you up.
I'm embarrassing all of us. So I pick up the ice cream cone in one hand and the ice cream in the other one.
Yeah.
And I walk back up to the counter, just like blathering like an idiot.
Yeah.
This is my ice cream and it's just in a fountain way.
Naturally.
And they're just looking over at my friends and back at me. And the guy just shrugs and turns around. And it's just like, I'm not dealing with this.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He's just like, I got nothing to do. I'm got nothing to do with this.
Wow, dude.
He's like, I'm just going to ignore it till it goes away.
I mean, to be fair,
like, they didn't give me another ice cream. I was like 12, 13 at the time.
Fuck, that's why. You were a fucking big boy. I'd have said, fuck you, son.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I look like a retard.
So you had the cred.
Yeah, I had the cred. Like, it was believable that I was a slow kid. Because I didn't talk while we were giving our orders.
Right.
Like, they just ordered for me. I was just standing there with them.
Mm-hmm.
The kid ordered everybody's ice cream cones. And so I was a little upset that I didn't, like, get a replacement cone because the dickhead had knocked it out of my hands. So I threw it at him and hit him right in the junk.
Right in the ding-dong.
So he had a vanilla stain on his junk.
So it
now,
like
as a kid, that wasn't funny to me. That was just, haha, I hit him in the wiener.
Yeah,
I wasn't
a weenie.
I wasn't, aware of what that would have maybe looked like.
Yeah.
Or, why his parents were super concerned when we got back to his house.
Oh, at 12 you didn't know?
I mean, I knew about stuff, but I hadn't made a mess with it.
Yeah.
I'd never made a mess with it.
You never painted the walls.
No.
Yeah, never. I had a friend who shall remain nameless, but what happened was he came to school one day, and my friend looks at him. My other friend, he looks at him. He goes, "Hey, Frosty, what's up?" And Frosty looks at him. He goes, "Why are you calling me Frosty?" And friend number 2 says, "Because I frosted your mom's face with my cum," and then gives him 6 finger guns and just walks out of the classroom. And so until the end,
how old? I'm sorry.
We were 14.
14.
And this is 8th grade, and we called him that throughout all of high school.
Just Frosty. Just called him Frosty.
Yeah, called him Frosty.
Yeah, you're just Frosty now. He made a dumb joke. You're Frosty now.
The worst part was he had a really dope last name. Like, those people are like really sick last names, and you're like, yeah, I see why you just go by that, right? Like Fight Master. If that were my last name, you best believe I'd go by that.
Nobody's last name's Fight Master.
Max Fight Master. You think I'm fucking with you?
Yeah, I do.
I'm not.
That's your retort. There is your just the simple statement. I'm not. I ain't lying to you, bud.
If anything,
just not doing it.
If anything, my coolness should lend you some credibility.
Yeah, your coolness.
No, I don't mean like me being cool, because I'm a fucking dweeb. Like, when you were telling the police story, rather, you know what my first thought was?
What's that?
About the time I got picked up for soliciting young children by the police. Okay, so I want you guys to know, for context, I was outside of my school learning to drive with my mom. And I was 15.
Balding.
Yeah, balding and 15 and with facial hair. So I'm driving around with my mom in the parking lot of my school. And it's probably about 4. School's been out about an hour, and she says, "All right, I'm going to get a drink. Just keep taking laps around the parking lot. This would normally be fine." Tragically, however, I drive a big white van.
I'm sorry, your mom leaves you alone at 15.
Yeah.
Just driving the car. Because what could happen?
Well, to be fair...
Oh, you could lead foot it and kill yourself?
Well, to be fair, I was driving illegally later that year. So she leaves me to do that, and I offer my friend Tyler a ride home. He says no, walks to his house. Now the problem comes, my mom hasn't been back yet. It's been about 10 minutes. And a police officer pulls into the parking lot.
And you're just doing laps.
In a big white van with tinted out windows and no identifiable markings. So he stops me.
Right.
The first thing he says is, "Sir, I'm going to need to see some ID." And I said, I don't have an ID. I'm 15. And he says, "Okay, let's not kid ourselves, sir." And he looks at me and he goes, "I've received reports of a big white van soliciting young children." And I was like, young children? And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Sir, I am a young child." And he looks at me and he goes, "Sir, I thought we agreed to stop kidding ourselves. Let's get back to the matter at hand." And so he's sitting there, he's giving me the rigmarole, and he's like, "So why are you here?" And I'm like, "I'm learning how to drive with my mom." And I gesture toward the passenger seat, completely having forgot that my mom is not in the fucking car. She's inside getting a drink for fucking 12 minutes. And he looks at me and he goes, "Sir, are you okay? Have you been drinking today?" And I said, "It's 4 p.m., officer. Why would I be drinking?" And he goes, "That wasn't my question."
So you're just like making this incredibly bad for yourself.
Yeah, and
not only are you not convincing the officer that you're not there to solicit children, you're convincing him that something even worse is going on.
That I'm soliciting.
That you're just drunk, driving circles in a parking lot of a school,
and asking
trying to get kids to go in with you.
Yeah, and the worst part is the child I was soliciting was a year older than me. So he's a year older than me. I'm a freshman at the time. He's a sophomore, and he was actually a member of the tussle crew. But so this sophomore friend of mine, he's older than me,
right.
And his mom is the one who called the cops on me. You want to know why she called the cops on me? Because his house was down the street, and she could see me the entire time. She could see me. I had been to his house for his birthday not even a week before.
Maybe you look like a really shady guy from like a mile away.
Yeah, and my mom walks out to the car, and she gets in the car, and the officer goes, "Ma'am, who are you?" And she goes, "Well, I'm his mother." And okay, for one thing, that's untrue. And, I mean, you know, I consider her my mom, and I love her, but you know, statistically speaking,
That's
so
fucked up, dude. Come on.
yeah, so. We go through the rigmarole again, and finally the officer looks at me and goes, "You're really just 15?" And I said, "Yeah, I even have my school ID." And I pulled it out of my pocket and I give it to him.
When he asked for ID, you didn't think, "Oh, I'll give him my school ID"?
Because I knew what he meant. I knew he meant like a driver's license.
Well, no, he means literally any identifiable identification.
Yeah, but so I hand him the ID, and he looks at me, and looks down at the ID. He looks at me, looks down at the ID, and he goes, "Well, you either did a really good job or you're a high school freshman." and I was like,
"Oh man, I wish I had the fake student ID I made so I could take the ACT."
"What?"
Our school didn't have school IDs, and I needed an ID to take the ACT.
Yeah.
And nobody told me this till like 2 days before.
Oh shit.
So I like had no way of getting an ID, you know, because it was 2 days away.
Yeah.
And
our cat is currently fidgeting with Gaza.
Yeah, he's like falling, but also trying to climb at the same. Like he's just trying to lay down and also climb.
Yeah, he's trying to do him.
Yeah, he's a little nanner.
He's a little silly nanner.
But so I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And so my tech teacher, he's just like, well, just make a legit looking ID, print it, laminate it, and if anybody asks any questions,
yeah,
just we'll deal with that.
Yeah.
Just like. Okay, so I made one up and fucking took a picture with our high tech cameras that we got.
Yeah.
And, made an ID, and the guy's like, "This is the first one of these I've seen today."
Oh my
he accepts
gosh.
it. He doesn't question it.
Yeah.
And you know, because we're in my school.
Yeah.
The test took place in our health class, my health class.
Oh god.
Our health classroom, and it's just like, yep, seems legit.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got. And I took the ACT.
I have a good story I kind of want to end on.
Well, we have one more talking point.
All right, hit me.
Does it have to pertain to your story? You know what the talking point is.
I guarantee you I can segue it.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so here's the thing, right?
we'll segue from your
Yeah.
thing to end on into the last
So-
talking point.
Those of you who've listened before, I work at the local college.
Right. See, it's weird. It's weird to say like, oh, well, we've mentioned it because we've lost so much.
Oh yeah, so I don't know what we have and haven't
Yeah.
mentioned. But I do work at the college around here.
Right.
And when I was a student there, my first time getting a student ID, I took the picture for it 30 times. I think the actual number was 28. And finally, the poor fucking woman.
Wait, what happened? What kept happening?
I didn't like it. So what happened was the woman,
Dude.
after the 20th time, she looks at me and she goes,
Dude, it's an ID.
yeah, but she goes,
I can go get your license. The
I
picture
have one
where
ID right there.
you look like you are a fucking gym teacher.
Right.
In like a 90s after school special, a gym teacher that like sells meth or something.
I look like the gym teacher that approaches your kids that doesn't go to their school.
Yeah, you look like a fucking skate is what you look like.
Yeah, but so the woman looks at me after try 28 and she goes, and I shit
We're
you not.
using this one.
I shit you not. She goes, dude, I think you might just be ugly. And then she starts laughing. It's like, on the one hand, it feels like she's kidding. But on the other hand, she was just like, dude, I think you might be ugly. So I'm wildly
Wait, did she
offended.
laugh like, haha, that's a joke, or like, ha 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 ha?
She said, dude, I think you might just be ugly.
So, like an evil witch laugh.
Yeah, like the Wicked Witch of the West
Yeah.
just got banged for the first time in 20 years.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's that kind of laugh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if she got wet, she would die.
Okay, so it's like the Wicked Witch of the East, having seen the Wicked Witch of the West just get banged to death.
Right.
Which, in theory, did actually happen. She did get banged just by a house instead of a person.
Well, that's the East.
Yeah. So what's the next talking point we got on the docket?
Our last talk. I'm sorry, my phone lit up, so I was
Confused, yeah.
seeing if it was anything major,
Hmm.
and it was not. Our last talking point is the worst place you've ever eaten.
Oh my fuck!
And your story is gonna be from this morning.
Yeah, it is from this morning.
Right. Which I took a nap today, so it's like that feels like yesterday for me.
So we went to Huddle House this morning, which is I don't know if it's a northern thing too, but it's a southern comfort breakfast food chain, kind of like Waffle House, but
food's good.
Yeah.
Our service today was just bad.
You know, here's what happened. I get my hash brown. I got a stuffed hash brown. Hash brown's undercooked. And in the South, hash browns, I don't know if there's ever... Hash browns are just like a mishmash of potatoes shredded.
It's shredded potato, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm eating my stuffed hash brown. It's undercooked. Second off, our toast came with, what was it, basically frosting on it.
Yeah, way too much butter.
Yeah, way too much butter. Couldn't possibly melt. And then, we played a game with the waitress after a certain point. We said...
Well, we were going to play a game, and then you were just like, hey, take these cups.
Yeah, because what happened was I started stacking the cups that she just left on the table.
She would empty drink cups, like with ice in them.
Yeah,
she didn't bring back a refill. She was just bringing all of the cups to us. Obviously at some point she's like, okay, I've given them too many cups because they were out of cups to bring us.
Yeah.
So she was bringing back refill glasses.
Yeah.
Like without ice in them. Just here's more soda for your ice.
Yeah, so she comes back with a refill cup at some point and she's like, hang on, I'll get you some ice. And she steps away and I hand my roommate the refill cup and I put a regular cup down where it was. And she comes out and she looks at it for a second and she's super confused. But she just says, oh, it's okay, I'll get you another one. And it's after a certain point you gotta just question, like, are you really like paying attention? Because don't get me wrong, if the place was busy, I get it.
And all it was is like they were stacked on the far side of the table.
Yeah. 2,
we had a basket that had mozzarella sticks in it, and the tater tot bowl, the cheesy bacon tot bowl, were just sort of sitting there, taking up space on the table.
3 people.
Yeah, we got 3 people at this table. All of us now have plates with food on them.
Mm-hmm.
Our roommate has a second one because he got a side waffle.
Yeah.
Which is a good
deal.
Yeah. If you have the option, get a side waffle.
Almost every time.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at this cat.
Yeah, our kitten is currently in Gaza's hands, and he's
just the cutest little bean.
He's looking up at him with the look that Skeletor probably gives Mumra at night.
I'll tweet out a picture of him if you want to go find it. That way you have to follow us on Twitter now.
Yeah, you gotta follow us on Twitter
if you want to see
cat pics.
This cute little bean. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He's just like.
He's happy though. He's stoked. He's purring real loud.
Super duper loud.
He's like a little jet engine of purring.
Yeah. He's got his eyes closed, trying to lick himself. So cute.
I like how he just has his paws folded over his little chest right now, and he's looking up like, me? You love me? And he keeps reaching up to touch Gaza, and he's like, no, pet me. He's a good cat.
He's a little babel.
Yeah.
Now see, I would say that it wasn't super bad. Like, yeah, the hash brown I got was also a little undercooked, but like, the thing that ruined the experience was the service, the poor service.
Yeah, that waitress was just not good.
Yeah. Ordinarily, I'm not a dick.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, yeah, tip them. Help, like, try and keep the areas reasonably neat, stack all of our drinks together and make it a lot easier for them to take care of, to bus. Like, 'cause I know people that used to have to do that, and it's a pain in the ass sometimes. Yeah. This lady, however, didn't appear to want to do her job, like, at all.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't make enough tips for it to, equal minimum wage, they have to compensate you anyway, so it's like, it's not a big deal if you don't tip. But it's saying, hey, you weren't you didn't really provide service. You were just sort of there. You were like doing the bare minimum to get by. Like,
Also,
hopefully that's like she sees, oh, hey, I thought I was being nice. Well, I could have actually like
Taking
the empty
the drinks, the
empty
plates,
trays, the empty plate or the bowl, and the drink cups instead of just stacking up drink cups on their table.
And at one point, another waitress, was she on her phone or was that the?
That was the store's phone.
Okay, because she showed more attention to us than the other lady
Yeah,
did.
and she was on the phone. Like, and she was very.
She did her best.
Clearly irritated that she was having to take care of us.
Yeah.
When this other waitress was that was her section or whatever the hell was going on.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck.
But I would say that my vote for worst place I've ever eaten would have to be Ruby Tuesday for the opposite reason. Decent service. That waitress was super nice to us.
Yeah.
You know, made sure everybody was taken care of.
Awful food, though.
The food though was just like
shit.
Yeah, like
5 of us.
My steak was cooked to my specifications, but when I got it, it was cold.
And you got food poisoning.
And I got food poisoning.
4 out of 5 of us got food poisoning.
Yeah. 4 out of 5 of us had beef from this Ruby Tuesday.
Yeah.
And 4 out of those 4 all got sick from the beef.
Yeah, and the other one ordered a dish with beef in it, but didn't end up eating it.
Yeah,
she wasn't hungry.
Took it home to eat later, and after all of us got sick, obviously threw it out because
realizing
tainted beef. Hey, let's not eat that.
Yeah, let's not fucking.
But I was so stunned because like I grabbed the plate to move it, and it was so fucking hot. Like I picked it up and immediately was like, "That's a bad idea."
Yeah.
And then I cut into my steak and I take a bite, and the steak is cold. Now, how do you do that? How do you have a plate so fucking hot that I can't touch it with my human hands?
But
this steak is cool to the touch.
That is unusual.
How do you do this? Do you heat the plate? Like maybe they keep it under heat lamps, but why is the steak cold if it's under a heat lamp?
I haven't taken you to Los Reyes yet, have I?
That's really nearby.
Yeah, it's
that's over by the Walmart, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in our town. You have a Walmart, you got a Walgreens, and then before the Walgreens is a strip, and it's got a place called Los Reyes. I think it's Reyes. It might be Ranchos, whatever. All I know is I've seen my boss get drunk there. It's a pretty good place. They have bottomless nachos that I really want to introduce him to. Yeah, and they're free. Free bottomless nachos. Whether you're just coming in for water or whatever, you get free bottomless nachos.
That's stupid.
Is it
nachos and cheese or salsa?
It's nachos and salsa.
Okay.
But you can get cheese. Like you can ask for queso and it's like 25 cents or something.
That's fine.
It's still, like if you ever just want to like blow time.
Especially queso blanca.
Yeah, it is. It is queso blanca. So, yeah.
It's like the peppers and stuff in it?
I don't know. I didn't dip in it. I didn't know what it was until after.
Yeah. I told you earlier because we tried the Taco Bell chicken chips.
Yeah, we did. The naked
I told
chicken.
you I'm not a dip guy. Yeah. There are 2 exceptions to that. One, not like tortilla chips because they're just plain tortilla chips. Obviously,
yeah, tortilla.
I'm gonna
chips. Tortilla chips. Go on. Would you rather I say tortilla?
Well, that's it for this episode. No, the 2 exceptions are plain tortilla chips. Mm-hmm. Preferably it's queso blanco dip, but any like spicy cheese dip is good. Mm-hmm. Or just about anything with buffalo chicken dip. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've ever had it. My English teacher in my senior year made it like 4 times and just brought it in for people, and it was like the sickest thing that a teacher's ever done. And I was already like blown away because this lady was like just the nicest fucking teacher to a class of remedial English students.
Yeah.
Because I was not taking enriched English with the same teacher I took a freshman enriched English with because she tried to fail me for a number of reasons, one of which was somebody was writing a paper in the MLA formatting where her last name was, I typed is a bitch after, and they didn't notice, printed the paper, handed the paper in, and it came back whited out, and she never said anything, but she knew who did it.
Right. She had the inside scoop.
Yeah. She knew exactly who did it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think she didn't like me after that, but there was also the first semester my ankle was broken from football.
Yeah.
And there was like a big like bag project you had to do, like booking a bag or like a diorama.
Yeah.
I think that's better because she was like, you can do one or the other. I was like, but you had to do like 16 different items to put in a bag.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'll do a diorama. And then I like did the diorama, but then it broke my ankle. I can't carry the diorama in. And I was like, you're gonna have to wait on it because
I physically can't.
Yeah, I physically am unable to bring it into school, and I ride a bus. Nobody's gonna help me bring it to the bus.
Yeah.
It's it's late. It's early winter. There is snow on the ground.
No,
I'm on crutches. No one's fucking with my diorama and protecting my diorama and
no
bringing it to school. I was like, I have an iPod. I don't have a cell phone. I'm not one of those guys. It's like my iPod doesn't even have a camera on it, so I can't like take a picture to prove it's real.
Yeah.
But you have my word.
Yeah.
My word is good. And this is before I did the bitch thing, right?
Yeah.
This situation caused the second situation.
It was the snowball.
Yeah. Where she was like, I'm going to have to give you an F for it. I'm like, my ankle is broken. I literally am unable to do this. I have to operate crutches. You know, this is not me, I'm dicking around and I'm not going to do your project, you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
This is, I've done the project, I'm unable to bring it to school right now on account of the fact that I broke my fucking ankle.
Yeah, like seriously, holy fuck.
I got hit by 3 linebackers.
Man.
What's your excuse? For being a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Naturally.
I'm in a loveless marriage, I hate my kids, blah, blah, blah. She was a real
bitch.
Piece of work. Yeah, her husband owned a liquor store.
Oh, that explains a lot.
And so on the weekends, she would pay students to babysit her kids while she got shit-faced drunk.
Well, next time on Smashbox Live, we'll be talking about proper child rearing techniques.
No, we won't. Because that's our shtick, is we never do the thing we're going to say we're going to do next
We'll
time.
be talking about early onset alcoholism.
We're going to be talking about bleaching your butthole.
Yeah, see you guys next time.